Welcome back to another episode of the Wolves Dynasty career mode here, where we are starting season number 9. Remember, season 8 was one video, season 9 is one video, season 10, don't know if it'll be one video or possibly two videos, I'm not quite sure. I might do season 10 in one video and then just a full-on roundup on Friday. But here we go. This is your squad. Ethan Waneri jumps up to 95 overall. Simeon is 92, Vert is 93, Parker is 91, Bergvall, Neves both in the 90s. Every single player on the squad is actually into the 90s. I didn't realize until just now. Our bench is not 90s. What we do know is we have a budget of 178 million. Oh my god, I actually got that right. 178 million. We are gonna sign players and sign players and sign players. Maybe bring some free agents and whatnot in as well. But again, we're not going to change anything. We might change some stuff, but again, we are trying to win the quadruple for these last 3 seasons in a row, including obviously last season as we completed that one. And if you want to count the sextuple as well as in terms of the FA Cup, or not the FA Cup, the Community Shield in the Super Cup, which I'm pretty sure we did last season as well, then we'll definitely look to do that as well. We'll see what happens. Let's see in the transfer window. If we get crazy transfer offers, we will accept them. If we don't get crazy transfers, we'll get some players in and maybe do some swap rounds just to keep it a little bit fresh. Just a little bit. And we bring in Mr. Rosek, a youth prodigy from Manchester United. We offer them Liam Delap plus 150 million. Now that might be most of our transfer budget, but I do believe we might have a couple exits. He comes in 91 overall in the squad. Welcome in. Now, why I say I think there will be some player sales is because I kind of want to switch some things up a little bit and maybe experiment. But for now, he comes into the squad. And at the moment, our entire transfer budget is gone. Our first departure of the season is going to be Christos Solis. He leaves for 82.2 million, recouping some of the funds. Now we make a massive risk in. I say risk, it is a risk, but we make a massive decision in. We say goodbye to Timo Livramento. He's actually off to Portsmouth, and we bring in Ezekiel Adeoye. This will effectively, not really save us money, because actually we're probably losing money. In fact, we are losing money in there because Livramento is worth like 90 mil or so, and then this guy was only worth about 80. So we don't have to spend anything. But Mr. Ezekiel Adeoye, 86 overall right back, he comes into the squad. He will be our new number right back. So we no longer have a full 11 of 90 overalls. But this is just going to set up something perfect that I am planning on doing if it all works out. There's a big chance it doesn't work out. Our second departure is going to be Restes. I was looking to bring in a free agent goalkeeper, but he decided to join Arsenal instead, and I had to accept this transfer offer. So one goalkeeper it is. If we need another one, we'll just find one on the free agents. So Ipolo is now back to fully being the number 1 goalkeeper. We gotta say goodbye to Antonio Silva. He is off to Arsenal for 64.49 million. Why not just go 64.5? The board said we could have earned 26.8 million. I guess his contract must be expiring or something, because we definitely couldn't have. Now, this is the big one. This is the risk that we are taking. Florian Wirtz, 1 season at the club, and he is off. And he's not off to just any old other club. We sell him to the club that actually pushed us the best, kind of, in the league. I say that, but they finished second in the league. We absolutely wiped the floor with the Premier League anyway, but we are going to play them in a couple of weeks in the Community Shield. He is off to Brighton for 210 million. There's a reason why we are selling him. We're now going to have close to 500 million, and about half of that, if not more than half of that, is about to be spent on one single player in one single position that is not Cam. And just to see that, 475 million in our transfer budget, and if you can't tell why, it's because look at who we have sold. We sold Florian Wirtz, we sold Restes, Solis, 82 million. The least we sold somebody for is for 65 million. Everybody else has been 80 to 100 to 200. We also spent 150 on one guy, on a backup striker, by the way. And here he is. If you didn't know this is where I was going, then shock. But You probably did, because it's probably on the thumbnail and probably in the title. Some sort of themed around him being brought into the squad. Lamine Yamal, 95 overall right mid, right winger, comes into the squad here at Wolves as we look to continue this dynasty in this God squad, continue to build it up. Ethan Nwaneri is moved over to Cam, so he will be our number 1 Cam with Xavi Simons behind him as still the backup. Lamine Yamal is obviously going to be playing right wing at the club. Welcome in to the squad. We spent $258.9 million on him, so a big chunk of our budget is gone out the window just like that. Plus $500K per week. That's even going to affect our budget down under $200 million. So effectively a $275 million type of transfer offer with his wages. He comes into the squad. They say, again, the scouting on this stuff, or the negotiations, is not great because they were not budging under 258. They literally was 258 4 times in a row. The tension bar was all the way maxed out. And we go ahead and bring in Leo Sauer in from Manchester United for $63 million to be a backup left winger for Mr. Parker. We go ahead and bring in center back Jose Manuel Salinas in from Leeds United for $56 million to provide depth at that center back option and provide depth in this team. Now, I'm just going to say here, this was also my crazier idea, which I do not think is no longer feasible, except it could be. But I was looking to also bring in Desiree Doué to be backup right winger into the squad. So you know what? We're going to try it, because if we can bring him in for Coenda, then absolutely I'm taking every single day of the week. It's just going to hopefully be a straight swap deal, because their market value is exactly, or his market value is exactly what the board want. They say yes to that. Perfect. So never mind. Worries out the window. Welcome into the squad, Mr. Desiree Doué. And Desiree Doué is now a Wolverhampton Wanderer. And so this is your team, the front 11. It's changed a little bit. We still have Ipolo, Kubarsi, Hoyson, and Lewis, Skelly, Bergvall, and Neves. But Adeoye now joins that back 4, back 6 type of role. Ethan Nwaneri goes from 95 to 96, and he turns up into a cam. Lamine Yamal is now our right mid, right winger. Everardo Simeones now has proper pressure him with Rovsek on the bench sitting behind him at 91 overall. And then Henry Parker at left wing comes in at 91 overall. As far as this season goes, I'm gonna hopefully in editing style put it in chronological order. Possibly, I'm not quite sure. What my plan is, what I want to do is focus like Premier League segment, Carabao Cup segment, Champions League segment, and FA Cup segment. It's going to be hard because they're all intertwined within each other, and to be completely honest, there might be some muffling of it, there might be some screwing of it, there might be an effort of doing it, but then me not caring and completely giving up in edit, because at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the edit. Obviously, yesterday's episode, half of it, or more than, or a little bit more than half of it, was voiceovered. This is how this one's going to more than likely be, is voiceover for a big chunk of it, as well as I just play through games. So as I record, we'll see what happens. But first, I will at least play these first 2 games to get 2 trophies out the way against Brighton and Inter Milan. So let's get into those games, and then let's see what we can do after that. And here we go. First game, it's the Carabao Cup. It's not Carabao Cup. It's the Community Shield here against Brighton Hove Albion. Adeoye looking in there. We have Mr. Lamine Yamal. Do they have Florian Wirtz starting? They do. So 2 of our former players, of Tolio Wasi, who was here at the very early stages, and now, actually, I mean, Tolio Wasi is actually an original Wolves player, is he not? Or does he play for Brighton? He plays for Brighton, I think. No, he plays for Everton, or for Wolves. Whatever. Don't matter, don't care. All I know is complete domination, hopefully, this season. Ethan Nwaneri and Cam is going to be something, a sight to see as well. Ethan Nwaneri, he shoots. Saved by DR and out for a corner. Ethan Nwaneri on set corner. It's Kubarsi headed away. Joao Neves into Everardo. Everardo's going to lay it off for Lamine Yamal because it's Lamine Yamal. Toliuasi, Lewis Skelly down to Bergvall. And Bergvall now out wide for Mr. Parker, and Henry Parker into Everardo. And Everardo gets past one. Everardo finds the back of the net, and Wolves take the lead 13 minutes in. Bergvall now. Bergvall into Parker and Henry Parker now. Henry Parker, Everardo. That's 2-0. We are going to jump the simulation and jump in when we lift that trophy. Nwaneri makes it 3-0. Everardo hat-trick, 4-0. And we are your Community Shield winners for back-to-back, to possibly even back seasons here. A 4-0 win over Brighton and Hove Albion. Hopefully that sets the tone for the type of season we're going to have. Let's lift that trophy and get on to the UEFA Super Cup. And it will be Dean Hoyson to lift the first of a possible 6 trophies this season. I'm not even going to play. I'm just going to sim through the UEFA Super Cup versus Inter Milan. Henry Parker makes it 1-0 in the 68th minute. And champions of the UEFA Super Cup is ours now as well. A 1-0 win over Inter Milan.
And you can see what it means.
And Dean Hoyson will lift said trophy. Welcome to the cabinet once again. Back-to-back seasons. That is a double already done within our first 2 games of the season. Now, they aren't very important trophies, but they are trophies nonetheless. Now the season properly starts. And so we go ahead and jump into the first game of the season here against Birmingham. Now, while I'll talk over this, I had a very important thing. You see here, Gravenberg is going to be wanting to leave the club. I had a very important thing here. You can see us bring in Gavi. I wanted this episode specifically, just this episode, I was going to test something out to where I put the Premier League all in a row and like put it competition by competition. So Premier League, all the Premier League season, and then the Champions League, and then the Carabao Cup, and then the FA Cup all together in like 4 different sections of the videos. While editing it all down, I have given up, and in fact, I still haven't even properly edited this all the way down yet either. So right now, I'm voicing over what I have over at the moment. Here you can see we start in the Premier League where we have our first massive game against Manchester City. So excuse me while this is going to be very rough. What I have now, it might be edited very quickly. It might just randomly stop. I do apologize for that. But you can see there we take a 1-0 lead there, and throughout the entirety of the game, it kind of acts as a 1-0 lead there, and it is a 1-0 win. We jump straight into our Champions League matchup. The first one there is against PSG. Now Lamine Yamal is on the ball. What can he do with it? Lamine Yamal trying to find space. He finds Ethan Nwaneri making that run, and Ethan Nwaneri is in behind, and it is 1-0 for Wolves over PSG already within 16 minutes into the save. But yeah, this season and the next season I haven't tried. I've recorded next season. The series in real time. The series is over. I'm done with the series in real time. I just got to do the voiceovers for today's episode and tomorrow's episode, and then I have to record the roundup video for Friday's episode as well, Friday's video. But yeah, so for this one, it's very rough. What we have now is what we have, and then I'm going to just not go through every single game. I have about 4 hours of recording, and what I have here is up until like the 25th minute, so a lot is there. But you can see there they made it 1-1, but we make it 2-1 as Ethan Nwaneri finds Everardo. That connection is elite. It's been elite ever since Everardo came into the squad and Ethan Nwaneri came into the squad, even when Ethan Nwaneri was playing as a cam and then a right mid, and now in the CM role with this 4-4-2. But unfortunately, Mr. Thiago Costa equalizes in the 84th minute there to make it 2-2, and then here comes Henry Parker down that left-hand side trying to steal all 3 points here. It's Ethan Nwaneri. He's going to find Joao Neves, and Joao Neves against his former club finds the back of the net, and Wolves have the lead, and Wolves have the win, hopefully, over PSG here with the not last kick of the game, but very, very late goal in 88th minute, hopefully equalizer winner. That should be a winner there for us over them, and it will be. We do survive a late opportunity there for them to equalize at the end of the game, but we are going to go ahead and move on to the Premier League where we have Crystal Palace up next. It's a 0-0 draw, and our first round of Carabao Cup action is here against Southampton. You can see on We are going to take Southampton. If you do excuse some of my little mini blips trying to talk for 30 minutes straight, it's quite difficult. So if I do kind of slow down a little bit, then I do apologize for that. But we're going to move past some games here. We're going to move past Leeds United, thrashing them 5-2 to jump into our second Champions League game of the season against Real Sociedad, with Everardo's going to pick up the opening goal, and then in the 20 minutes he's going to have a chance to make it 2-0 off a penalty straight down the middle, and Wolves double their lead here. Henry Parker triples the lead in the 55th minute. Everardo caps up a hat-trick in the 90th, or in the whatever, and he makes it a 4-0 win. We beat Brentford 2-0. We draw to Liverpool 1-1. Wolves now against Benfica was a 0-0 draw in the Champions League there, and then we jump into the next round of the Carabao Cup, where we are taking on Giants Manchester City very early on in a cup round. Where this is the round of 16. So round of 16 here against Manchester City. It starts from Henry Parker trying to find Everardo, cannot do so. It'll fall for Adeoye. Adeoye into Joao Neves. Joao Neves back to Adeoye. What can he do with it? Out wide to Waneri. Waneri looked for Parker, but he was offside, so Ethan Waneri takes himself. Chopped down, nothing will come of it. Ethan Waneri now will get it back 35 minutes in. He finds Henry Parker. He's onside that time, but the keeper makes a fantastic save, and here comes Manchester City. It's Ndilla in looking for the pass into the box, and Savinho. It was saved, and it was bounced back to Savinho. He finds it back in net to make it 1-0. Erling Haaland with a beautiful volley to make it 2-0 at the end of the first half, I should say. But here comes Everardo Simeos into Ethan Waneri, and Ethan Waneri gets one back all the way in the 71st minute, giving us some sign of life here. Ethan Waneri is going to pick the ball up. He's going to make that chopping run. Ethan Waneri gets past Donnarumma, sends Donnarumma the wrong way, and he equalizes in the 88th minute, and extra time is not coming because it is a penalty shootout here. Erling Haaland steps up first here against Ipolo. Now, there is a way to know which way they are going. If you look at their standing foot, not the foot that they actually take the penalty on, but the standing foot here. So for him, look on his left foot. Look right before he kicks the ball which way it goes. He is going left. You can see his foot turned right. Or should go right. His foot turned right. That's how you can know, but you have to react so quickly, so it is very hard to guess which way they're going, and more than not, you're not going to guess the right, up or down, which way they're going. So he's going down the middle, and again, you don't really see it until the very last second, and so it's very hard to try and predict it still. So they did make it harder to predict it, but it is there if you can react quick enough. I just simply can't here. It's perfect penalties for both sides here, and it's going to continue with Savinho going to the left to make it 4-3 here. It is Dean Huijsen in the front five, the captain of the club. Goes ahead and finds the back of the net to make it 4-4. Jeremy Doku, who's I don't think he's really been anything involvement in this game, straight down the middle, makes it 5-5, puts the pressure on Miles Lewis-Skelly to be able to put his in the back of the net to continue this penalty shootout. In which he does. We are still in FA Cup action. Naipan is up next. What can he do with the ball? And he is going to sky it. Their first missed penalty, and it's not a save, it is a skying. Lamine Yamal is sixth on the chopping block here. He goes high, but he finds the back of the net, and we're into the next round of the Carabao Cup, knocking it down Manchester City, jumping straight back into Premier League action, where we went from Man City to Manchester United now in the Premier League, in which they're going to take a lead here halfway through the first half, a little bit more than halfway through the first half. Into the second half here, they're going to have a chance to double it, but he is unfortunately offside, so even the save did not matter. Here's Parker now in the 80th minute. He's going to find Waneri, no, that is Waneri. Ethan Waneri now gets past the keeper, and the keeper is going to dive at the ball and get the player. It's a penalty. Everardo is going to be the one to take it to equalize here in the 80th minute. He places it top left, and we have a game here with roughly 10 minutes left to go. Ipolo makes a game-winning denying save there, a 1-1 draw there. We quick sim against Inter Milan. We lose in the Champions League for the first time. You see there we sit 4th after halfway through, we sit 13th after halfway through the league phase games there. We have Valencia up next in the Champions League, which we are going to jump to a simulation here, in which Ethan Waneri opens up the scoring in the 40th minute to make it 1-0. They equalize relatively quickly in the 52nd, 1-1, and that's all there is to it. So another draw. So trouble for us so far, which means we shift focus still to our Champions League, where we are now taking AC Milan in game game number 6, the last game before we have like a month break into that January where we have the 2 games in which Everardo, who, by the way, throughout this entire save is not going to have an international call-up, even within this season and season 10. He does not have an international call-up at all. That is absolutely criminal. You see there, make it 1-1, but right into the second half, Ethan Waneri, what a finesse shot that is. He is just, I mean, he is great. He's been my favorite player I've been using this entire cycle, and he's there again to seal the deal, make it 3-1, and Ethan Waneri and Wolverhampton Wanderers have just their 3rd or 2nd win in the league phase, unless they have something to say about it as they get one back here in the 82nd, but that will be all it'll be. It is game over. Wolves 3, AC Milan 2, so we go over to Italy and pick up all 3 points. And another tough round in Carabao Cup action where we are taking on Tottenham. We have an early chance here in a free kick with Ethan Waneri on it 4 minutes in. What can he do with it? He skies it. He doesn't sky it, but he puts it over the bar there. They have a chance to make it 1-0. That's just beautiful one-touch football to set up a perfect blasting finish there. They make it 1-1. Into the second half we go. Everardo now into Ethan Waneri, into Mr. Lamine Yamal, and Lamine Yamal will not miss there. He shouldn't miss there. He has missed there before on the save, but he won't miss there. Ethan Waneri into Everardo, trying to avoid another penalty shootout, and Everardo is hoping to have just done that, scoring the 76th minute to make it 1-2 for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Last chance here of the game for Tottenham. It is blocked by a defender. It deflects into their path. The referee blows a whistle, and we're into the semifinals of the Carabao Cup once again. You can see here we sit 5th in the league. We are not doing great in the league, but we are playing top of the table Chelsea as we look to cut down our point gaps there to try and still be in this title race. Yeah, it's not been a great season so far in the Premier League. A couple draws, simulating throughout the season and whatnot. Lamine Yamal is going to find Ethan Waneri here. He's going to go out wide to Adeoye, the right back, taking up that space, that attacking space that Lamine Yamal kind of gave up for a little bit. It was a great save. Henry Parker into the second half. Everardo drives his shot wide, cannot find the back of the net. But right after that goal kick, Ethan Waneri is going to get the ball. He's going to find Henry Parker. Back to Ethan Waneri, and Ethan Waneri might have come off the defender. It does come off the defender. He's not going to get credit for the goal. It is a 1-0 lead, though, and a chance for them to equalize. They get the chance. They take the chance. We absolutely muffle it, and it's going to be a 1-1 draw against Chelsea. Should be a 1-0 win, but we absolutely blundered it there with Upolo not being able to clear it. Next up, we get all the way into January, where we now have FA Cup action here against Stevenage, and which is just going to be a 1-0 win. We score here in the 65th minute. It was a very rotated side. It was an entirely rotated side here, but they get the job done. A 1-0 win over Stevenage. We're into round 4 of the FA Cup. Semifinals of the Carabao Cup. You can see there we're taking on Liverpool. It's a very stacked Carabao Cup. It's us, Liverpool, Man United, and Arsenal in this semifinal. So first leg up here against Liverpool. It feels like I'm always playing Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semifinal. To be completely honest, I could be wrong here, but I think for the last 3 to 4 seasons, we have played Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semifinals. So Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, all in a row in the Carabao Cup. We go down early behind, but Lamine Yamal relatively quickly equalizes it, I should say, makes it 1-1. Lamine Yamal has been great. He has kind of taken that creativity away from Ethan Waneri because I pushed Ethan Waneri into the midfield, signing Lamine Yamal. And, well, Ethan Waneri, when I play with him, doesn't feel as good as he did when he's on the wing there. They're going to have a chance here to make it 2-1 right before the break. It's a wide open net, but he misses it just by inches, and thankfully it's not 2-1 there. Into the second half here, Lamine Yamal is now on the ball. Lamine Yamal crosses it in. Henry Parker, very, very tight angle. He blasts it into the back of the net, giving the keeper no room to try and make an easy save. Henry Parker again down that left-hand side. The keeper does make the save that time. Henry Parker fighting with the defender again on that left-hand side. He's going to go try and go far post, but Marvin Deshavili saves it mid, and then Tonali is going to pick up the ball. He's going to have a brilliant finish to make it 2-2 to give them back level. Remember, this is a 2-legged affair, so we're at Anfield first leg, and they're going to take the lead here. They're going to take the win in the first leg. It's 3-2 win. Alexander Isak is going to find the back of net, and it's not out of it. We're not out of it. We might have lost the game, but we're not out of it yet there. You can see now as we jump into the game here against Man City, we are 4 points behind Chelsea. We are, was that 3 points ahead of Man City. So we're jumping here against Man City. It is Wolves versus Manchester City. Lewis Skelly now is on the ball. Savinho is going to pick it up 5 minutes in here. He's going to find Erling Haaland, but Kubarsi wins the header. We can't clear it, and they're going to have an easy go-ahead goal, and Man City take the lead. They're going to quickly look to double it here. Here's Savinho now on the ball. He stopped and Hoyson, half-hearted clearance. He gives it to the center back, and the center back just allows Erling Haaland to overpower him, and it's a 2-0 lead for Manchester City. But right before the break, here comes Lewis Skelly now on the ball. He's going to find Waneri into Rovsek. Rovsek into Lamine Yamal. Actually, no, it's going to be Ethan Waneri on the right-hand side. I put Ethan Waneri on the right-hand side. I forgot who I put in the midfield for him. But we go ahead and equalize, not equalize, we get one back before the break here. 78 minutes in, Ethan Waneri, he's going to find Desiree Doué. Desiree Doué into Everardo, and Everardo finds the back of the net. 2-2 draw here. And that will be the game over. A 2-2 draw over Man City. We rescue a point. And so what we are going to do now here is I have now talked over everything I have cut down. So what we are doing now is just kind of going over the batched unediting here. And just to bring y'all behind the fourth wall, if I actually show y'all my editing screen line, if I remember, you can see here what we have left. We have about, what is that, it's actually 3 hours quite literally on the dot of unedited footage that I've gone through. You can see here where January 17th, you can see here 6th place in the Champions League with 2 games left to go, 9th place in the Champions League with 2 games left to go. So we are going to jump into a simulation here against Slavia Praha, or is this Slavia Praha or Prague? It's Slavia Praha. This is Slavia Praha, where we're going to hopefully pick up all 3 points in a massive win over that. But yeah, from now on, it might seem a little choppy. I can only apologize. I need this video out tomorrow in real time, and I was stupid enough to not do this over the weekend when I had the time to edit it down. So that is great. So tomorrow's episode is probably gonna tomorrow's episode, season 10, is probably gonna be the same, if not worse, off of just the recording I have already. So strap in. It's going to be a rough end to this series, but I do enjoy y'all. This has been my most successful series so far I have done on FC26. So without further ado, I will show back when we have some goals. And now we have a free kick here, which we're going to jump in to try and take here. It is going to be Bergvall because everything else is unidentified. So to be completely honest, I don't know what I'm trying to do here. I don't know if I try and pass it or if I end up just shooting it here. But I believe I'm just going to end up shooting it here. I'm going to absolutely sky it. It is Lucas Bergvall. Oh, no, that's right. I did score one. I did score a free kick. Was that this save? I thought this was season 10 when I scored a free kick. I know I scored a free kick with Lucas Bergvall. We scored a free kick. We jumped back into simulation, and it's 1-0 Wolves. Now Everardo's going to have a penalty here to make it 2-0 to seal the deal. He puts it top left, and that is going to be a 2-0 lead here, a 2-0 win over the Slavia Praha. And with that win, hopefully we jump up into at least the top 8 with 1 game left to go. So a 2-0 win, we will absolutely take that. We are going to go ahead and jump into a quick sim here over Sunderland as we prepare to play the next Champions League game, a 3-1 win over that. Chelsea dropped more points. They draw to Birmingham City. That will help us out in the title race here. But you see here, we sit 6th in the Champions League. We are playing against 31st place Sturm Graz. So a win there should be enough to get us into the top 8 and skip out on that playoff round, which means 2 less games for us and 2 less stressful moments for us as well. And so let's just go ahead and jump to that quick sim here. We're not even going to simulate through it. We're just going to quick sim it, and we are going to win 2-1. Parker and Waneri on the score sheet. A win there guarantees us sitting in the top 8. So there is that. We get to skip out on the playoff round action there. We sit 2nd in the Premier League, and just for confirmation, there we go. We finished 4th in the Champions League after 8 games left to go. Frankfurt finished 1st, so a very strong Frankfurt side there. Arsenal, your last team in. AC Milan, your first team in the playoffs. Last team in the entirety of the Champions League is Barcelona. And then for worst team is Fenerbahce. So there is that. And then here we go, the second leg of the Carabao Cup semifinal against the Liverpool here today, where we are down 3-2 on aggregate. We are looking to win this game at least by 2 goals to get into the final of another competition, the final of the Carabao Cup, to start our back-to-back quadruples. That is the aim. That is the goal. And we got to get Liverpool past again, as they are already in behind here with Nguma. Or is that Nguma? Yes, that is Nguma. Rio Nguma. He's on the ball. He's just getting past everyone with ease except Ipolo. Ipolo crashes onto him, and we survive that early attack. We have a chance here for Ethan Winery. He's going to pick up the ball. Ethan Winery cuts in, and Ethan Winery cannot find the back, and then he absolutely skyrockets it. Lamine Yamal is going to pick up the ball now in the midfield. He finds Everardo, and Everardo, he's going to find Henry Parker, and Henry Parker is going to find the back of the net. And I just realized I'm not in a 4-4-2 formation. That is season 10. See, this is why I said it's going to be muffled. I'm not in a 4-4-2 yet. That's season 10 when I go into a 4-4-2. We're still in the 4-2-1-3 or whatever it is. And Lamine Yamal is playing at Cam, and Ethan Winery at the moment is playing on that right-hand side because, well, to be honest, it's been doing better. And here he is picking up on the right-hand side again. And Ethan Winery, what can he do with the ball? He crosses it in, cannot find Everardo, though, cleanly. Lamine Yamal out wide for Winery, and Ethan Winery on the ball. What can Ethan Winery do with it? He finds, I don't know who that was that Everardo, but back to Ethan Winery across to Parker, and Henry Parker has the lead for Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's 2-0 on the day, 4-3 on aggregate, and we are 20-ish minutes away from being into the Carabao Cup final for the 3rd, 4th, 5th time in a row. Who knows at this point? And after a couple of subs been made, we're running down the clock. Xavi Simmons, Desiree Doué into Rovsek, and Rovsek, the 3 new subs on the field. Secure the win, secure us to Wembley for back-to-back seasons. We are going back to Wembley, our second home at this point here domestically, a 5-3 win on aggregate. We are into the final of the Carabao Cup, where we'll be either taking on Real Madrid, Manchester United, or Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final. We'll figure out who we have there, but for now, we celebrate getting into the final, and we shift our focus back to the other competitions like the FA Cup and the Premier League, and actually make it 6-3 here, where we get a fortunate rebound off of the goalkeeper, and Rovsek is going to make it 6-3, 4-0 on the day. It was a demolition derby to start with. Let's get into some more action across the board. And we start here with Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Norwich in the FA Cup here as our up next game here in the FA Cup. So we're going to look down to take Norwich to move on to round 5 of the FA Cup. We're already in round 4 after taking down Stevenage in the first round for us. We're jumping here to make it hopefully nothing there, but we do go all the way to extra time, in which Ethan Winery in the 105th minute, right before that break, is able to find the back of the net, and that's the only goal in the game. So 120 minutes just for Ethan Winery to find the back of the net in the 105th there. And then in the Champions League playoffs, you can see teams like PSG getting knocked out, Barcelona scrape by in the Champions League, and then in the round of 16, it's Juve versus Leverkusen, it's us versus Lille, Marseille, Man City, Barcelona, PSV, AC Milan versus Arsenal, Real Madrid versus Dortmund. But before we get into any Champions League action, we have another FA Cup round here against Tottenham. We knocked them out in the Carabao Cup. We're looking to knock them out in the FA Cup, but they take a lead there in the 25th minute to make it 1-0. But about 10 to 15 minutes later, Everardo comes back. He hits the crossbar. It goes over the line and into the back of the net. It's 1-1. And then right before the break, Lamine Yamal finds Everardo, and on the ground, Everardo doubled his goal tally, but takes the lead for Tottenham. And into the second half here, it's a good chance. He's in behind. I thought he was offside, but he wasn't. It's 2-2, and Tottenham equalized in the 78th minute. Here comes the boys again. Here comes the passing, and Lamine Yamal on his weaker right foot finds the back of the net, blasted into the top corner, and Wolves take the lead, and hopefully they can hang on, in which they can. We are going to go ahead and win this game and move on to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. No, this would be the round 6 of the FA Cup we're moving on to, so not quite at the quarterfinals yet, but we do jump into here in the Champions League. First leg against Lille. We are going to sim both legs because I'm fully confident in it. We take a 1-0 lead into the second half of this tie, which is honestly not the best, but the second half, or second leg, whatever. We go and take the lead in the 51st minute to make it 1-0. So back-to-back 1-0 wins in the Champions League. We are going to go ahead and move on 2-0 on aggregate. And then in the Carabao Cup, it's our first cup final, trying to win the quadruple, sextuple, if you want to count the two, like preseason-esque tournaments, in which we have an early chance there, 24 minutes in, can't find the back of net, finds the keeper's hands. Everardo finds Henry Parker, and Henry Parker saved by the keeper. Remember, this is a keeper at the beginning of the season I was interested in bringing in on a free. I just couldn't do so. Ethan Winery now, he chops, he turns, and what a finish that is. Ethan Winery hits the crossbar over the line. Back of the net, 1-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers right before the break here. 52 minutes in, it's Ethan Winery again. He gets a lucky deflection bounce, and he's able to capitalize on it and find the back of the net again to make it 2-0. And Wolverhampton Wanderers are going to go ahead and double their lead here and essentially almost put this game to bed. But Arsenal, they do have a corner. Remember, it is corner FC here. They're going to get another corner. They don't do anything with the first one. Former Arsenal player Lewis Skelly blocks it out for a corner. Cross comes in. It's dealt with straight to the keeper, and nothing will come out of those two corners for them. And it's a consolation goal at this point, but they cannot even score that. We go ahead and finesse it back to our keeper's hands, and that is game over. We are going to go ahead and win the Carabao Cup here against Arsenal, a 2-0 win, the first trophy of 4, the third trophy of the season if you want to count the Community Shield and the UEFA Super Cup here. We're looking good. We're fighting back in the league. We're getting back towards the top of the league. I know I'm cutting out a lot of the league action here at the moment. I'm hopefully going to have on there. So there is that. It is Wolverhampton Wanderers winning the Carabao Cup. Let's get into some more action. And so we're going to jump into here, simulation, the next round of the FA Cup, from one domestic competition to another domestic competition, back to the FA Cup here against Bournemouth. This is for a trip to Wembley to go into the semi-finals of the Emirates FA Cup here. We get a relatively easier opponent this time. We get Bournemouth in the quarterfinals, which is what we love to see here and there. And Ethan Winery is going to take the lead very early on, 10 minutes in. It's 1-0 British Bournemouth. It's 1-0 Wolves. And then look at this ball. I don't really show this much, but look at that. It was a great ball. You can only imagine how great of a ball it is. Everardo Simeones makes it 2-0 in the 36th minute, and we are starting to run away with it here against Bournemouth. And, well, that's all we're going to need is those two first-half goals. We win 2-0 against Bournemouth, and we are into the semifinals, so we'll be going back to Wembley for it seems like the 50th to 100th time this time. You can see Man City are through, Man United are through, Sunderland and Aston Villa are yet to play in the other quarterfinals, so those are your semifinalists for now. We have Bayer Leverkusen in the next round of the Champions League, which I think we can simulate through again. So quickly going it through it, Leverkusen beat Juve, we beat Lille, Man City beat Marseille, Barcelona through against PSV, Frankfurt are through, AC Milan are through, Valencia are through, and Borussia Dortmund make it through against Real Madrid. I butchered that. Man City versus Barca, Dortmund, Valencia, Frankfurt, AC Milan, us versus Leverkusen. I don't know why I said Borussia Dortmund so weird there, but they knocked off Real Madrid now. Let's see what happens here. Are we going to play this game? No, we are going to play this game. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and play the first leg. I totally forgot if we played or not, to be completely honest, but let's jump into it here. It is Leverkusen versus Wolves in the first leg in Germany. Lucas Bergvall has the ball in the midfield, a ball over the top for Everardo. He's fighting for it. He wins that battle. Can he find the back of the net? No. He shinks it wide. It was a very early opportunity to take the lead, and he just cannot do so. Somerville now for Leverkusen. He gets in behind, and Somerville stopped there beautifully. Now, can we hit him on the counterattack? No, we can't. We give the ball straight back away. Here is Malik Tillman back into Cahios, and I don't know what Ipolo is doing, but he allows the defender for Bayer Leverkusen to easily find the back of the net, and it's 1-0 for Bayer Leverkusen here. They take the lead 38 minutes in. It's the start of the second half here. It's Martin Fernandez into Neves. Neves into Winery. Ethan Winery trying to find something, trying to find some type of space. Out wide, he just whips it over to Lamine Yamal. Back into Ethan Winery. And Ethan Winery finds the back of the net. He was patient to find an angle. He found the angle. He raked that open space for himself. And he finds the back of the net. And it's 1-1. Lamine Yamal. Rovsek into Huijsen. I don't know why Dean Huijsen is making the run, but Dean Huijsen could have just scored the first leg winner for us here. The defender making that most forward run, he puts the ball away. It's his first goal in the Champions League this season. I mean, I can see why, because he's a center back after all, and it's 2-1. Last chance of the game here to try and maybe get yourself a little bit of a gap here. Here's Lamine Yamal, crosses block, he'll get it back. Lamine Yamal, he finds Ethan Nwaneri, and Ethan Nwaneri finds the back of the net. Wolverhampton Wanderers 3, Bayer Leverkusen 1. That allows us the option to be able to simulate that second leg, which I think I actually will this time around. But we take a 3-1 win here in Germany over Bayer Leverkusen, and hopefully that's us into the semifinals of the Champions League. Now, I don't know if I show the table here, but just to show you, oh, maybe I do show the table. Nope, I just show you the schedule there. Table, we are 6 points clear top of the table, so we kind of have been on a winning streak, in all honesty. Just through the background, we draw here against Manchester United. Gustavo Saw, former Wolves player, draws a level there, but we have been in the background pretty much almost winning a lot of these games, if not winning, drawing. I don't think we've lost in a while within the league there, so that's why we bounce all the way back up to top of the table and we sit first in the table. That was about the only thing I showed y'all recently in the Premier League, as we now jump into simulation here against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League. Remember, we are 3-1 up after Ethan Nwaneri's 91st minute goal to double our lead. And it was a very, very boring second leg. It was just business as usual. Nobody was creative. Neither was us. We didn't have to be, and they definitely weren't. And we're into the semifinals of the Champions League. And I think I just seen Frankfurt already knock out AC Milan. So Frankfurt, the super team there, making it all the way to the semifinals as well. And as we prepare for some more action in the FA Cup, we're going to sim 2 Premier League games against Aston Villa, which we win 2-0. And then we are also going to go ahead and sim past Chelsea here in the league, in which we are going to draw 2-2 there. So that will allow Arsenal to hopefully close that gap. I say hopefully not close that gap, but that will allow them the opportunity to close that gap. So there is that. We are now jumping to the FA Cup semifinal against Aston Villa. You can see there we're playing Frankfurt in the Champions League. Man City already through to the final. They take down Man United in the Manchester Derby, so it will be Man City in the final of the FA Cup if we are to get there back at Wembley. So let's see if we can take down Aston Villa, make it to another final here, and win the final of the FA Cup. That is the aim. That is the goal. Let's see if we can do it. And it starts here with a goal off a kickoff, almost. It's Lamine Yamal now down the right-hand side. He cuts it into Adegoye. He makes that run. He finds Everardo, and Everardo sneaks it in near post here. And within the first 5 minutes here, we have a lead against Aston Villa. They are stood still, shook. It's 1-0 Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's 4 goals and 4 appearances in the FA Cup for Everardo. And it's 1-0 Aston Villa. We have a corner here. Lucas Bergvall is going to whip it in. Cabarsi to try and head it in. No, it's going to go back out wide to Lamine Yamal. Thought he was about to let it go. He doesn't. He gets the ball back into Cabarsi. Now to Dean Hoyson, Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis, Skelly. Everardo is there. He finds them. He scores. And Wolverhampton Wanderers double their lead here about 10 minutes after scoring the initial opening goal. And Wolverhampton Wanderers are looking to cruise into another domestic cup final, another cup final in general. The keeper was looking to maybe think that we were going to both miss the ball there, and he was going to have an easy grab, so he took that step outwards. But nope, he left a wide open net for Everardo, and 2-0 for Wolves. And because we can, we jump to simulation for the second half here. So up 2-0 at the break, we jump into the simulation for the second half, and we'll see what happens from here on out and just carry the game out. If they score within like 85, we'll jump in. We are not going to have to worry about jumping in because Henry Parker seals a deal and books another trip to Wembley here for the 3rd time this season. Wolves 3, Aston Villa 0. We are into the next round of the FA Cup. Let's get into some more action, some more Champions League action. And so Man City knocked off Barcelona, Dortmund knocked off Valencia, Frankfurt obviously knocked off AC Milan. So it's City versus Dortmund, and it's us versus Frankfurt in the Champions League semi-finals here. Do we play or do we sim? No, we go ahead and jump into playing here against Frankfurt. Bergval's going to pick the ball up. He finds Henry Parker out wide. Henry Parker finds Everardo, and Everardo chips it over for Lamine Yamal. He gets the ball down. He drives it low into the bottom corner, and Wolverhampton Wanderers have the lead here. That is Lamine Yamal's first goal in the Champions League this season. That is quite worrisome, but at the end of the day, it really isn't at the same time because, well, we're all the way in the Champions League semifinal, and if Lamine Yamal decides he wants to show up now, then that's a great time to show up because that means we'll be even more deadlier than we have been. 1-0 within the first 20 minutes here against Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, when I say nothing, quite literally nothing happened for the rest of the game, I mean it. This is probably the most interesting thing that happened the rest of the game was that. That was the closest chance. That was kind of been the theme of the game here against Frankfurt. I did just skim past it to try and show you any highlights, and there was absolutely nothing here. It's been passes like that we have been putting poorly. It's them not being able to get past our back line about halfway through. They really haven't even seen the inside of our box in this whole entire game. They've had one chance very early on, but I already cut out the video. I'm not going back. So, yeah, we are going to win this leg 1-0. This is theoretically one of their better chances. It is one of their better chances. He's just offside, and that's going to be game over. We jump into the second leg later on after we get some Premier League action done as well. And we finally show you the league with 5 games left to go. We are 5 points clear off of Chelsea. However, we have a game in hand, so we can make that 7-point gap there. I know on my head when I'm recording that, I'm trying to do the math in the head. I'm not doing the math in my head at the moment. We're just going to hopefully win until we win the league, and we draw against Everton. So that is not a great start there. Arsenal win as well. And, well, we get into the second leg here against Frankfurt where, and quite honestly, hopefully some more entertaining things happen because it has been a very, very boring first half of this leg fixture, but I mean, at the end of the day, if it's boring again and we score one or don't score at all and they don't score at all again, then we're into the Champions League final and it is what it is. But a chance here for them is early over the top of that is dealt with. That is kind of what the theme of last game was. Can we hit them on a counterattack here now? A little bit of an extended highlight. Can we find the ball? No, we cannot. They can have a chance here. They bring it down off a goal kick. We are doing a typical thing where we can't control the ball and find a pass or clear it at all. And now he's in behind, but met with the polo. And there's a wicked, wicked, wicked deflection art there, and it goes out for a goal kick. It's a corner for us. It's Lucas Bergval into the second half now. Kubarsi wins a header, but saved by the goalkeeper. Robsek is going to receive the ball. Ethan Waneri is going to look to come back onside, and now he's in behind. Wide open space here. Ethan Waneri, he cuts onto his favorite left foot to do the finesse shot, and he finds the back of the net. It is 2-0 on aggregate, and we are going to jump to simulation because that is how boring this entire leg has been. The first leg, the second leg, this entire fixture against Frankfurt has been very boring. And it is another 1-0 win with Ethan Waneri scoring, and we are into the final of the Champions League, taking down Frankfurt 2-0. And just to show y'all, with 4 games left to go, we are on 72 points. The max that Arsenal can get, who have a game in hand over Chelsea, is 79. So we are just simply 7 points away from theoretically winning the Premier League title, and maybe even 8 points away from securing that Premier League title over Arsenal and Chelsea. So there's that, with 4 games left to go. And it starts here with the first of the 4 being against Bournemouth, in which we lose. So not a great start off there to try and win the Premier League. It's a massive loss. However, with us losing, Arsenal also lose as well. So now they are on 76 points max there. So again, only 5 points now from winning the Premier League game against them. So 2 wins and a draw, and we start off with a win against Fulham. So that's a massive 3 points. Arsenal beat Man United as well, so they stay on our tails as well. And we are back here at Wembley to take on Manchester City in the FA Cup here. In the FA Cup final. It's us versus Man City. It's a chance for the double or possibly even the quadruple already this season. So let's jump into here against Man City. Starts here, early chance here. Everardo Simeone's on the right. He cuts it in. Ethan Nwaneri finds the shot, but just off target. A very great chance to take the lead very, very early on. Ethan Nwaneri's going to pick the ball up in the midfield. Ethan Nwaneri's going to fancy pass it out wide for Lamine Yamal. And Lamine Yamal, he's going to try and do anything he can with it. He keeps the ball. He finds the open space. He finds the back of the net. And Wolverhampton Wanderers take the lead 31 minutes in. It's his second goal in the FA Cup competition this season. And it could be the the trophy-winning goal. But straight off kickoff, here comes Manchester City, and here comes the big man, Erling Haaland. Had a couple more touches into him to try and find a better angle of the shot, but he just finds the keeper there. And that will be the first half done and dusted here. 1-0 up here at Man City. They had a chance. We've had more than one chances, so there's that. Here is Henry Parker with the through ball that is into Everardo, and Everardo looking to double the lead. He does. It's 2-0 for Wolves. We double the lead here. It's Everardo Simeones with his 6th goal in the competition, and that should put one foot onto the hand of the trophy here. Here is Everardo Simeone. He's going to get the ball from Lamine Yamal. He's going to drag it out wide and cross into a wide open space. And there is Lucas Bergvall. He's going to score the third and secure the win essentially for us. There's no way Man City are going to be able to come back from that. So a 3-0 lead here over Manchester City. Vamos! Lamine Yamal is going to pick the ball up. Everardo is going to catch that offside trap last second, and he's going to add insult to injury. It's a 4-0 thrashing. We are starting to run riot here around Man City in the FA Cup final. Looking to get the second trophy here. The domestic double is done. We're going to look to wrap up the domestic treble and then hopefully a Champions League final as well. And so Dean Huijsen, nothing happened after that. No chances for Man City, no chances for us. A 4-0 thrashing, and the FA Cup belongs to Wolverhampton Wanderers for the 3rd or 4th year in a row. The dynasty is here. We are a proper dynasty now. It's time to go win the 2 big dogs, though, the Premier League and the Champions League, to wrap up the quadruple and a perfect season here. And so with 2 games left to go, Manchester City are still really in the race, but not really at the same time. In fact, they're not in the race at all. It is just Arsenal on 70 points there. They can get up to 76 points. A win here, though, over Manchester City, over Arsenal will put them out of the title race and essentially secure us winning the Premier League. So it's Arsenal versus Wolves for them to have a chance at the title and for us to wrap up the Premier League title and complete the domestic treble here at the Emirates. So a win here, we win the Premier League. A draw, we essentially win the Premier League, but we just need a point to secure. Here's Mercado, though, and Mercado, the Portuguese striker, a.k.a. Ronaldo Regen. He's found the space, he found the angles, and he just can't get into the back of the net or even on target. It's over the bar. Arsenal are all over us at the moment. Can they make it count, though? It's Mercado again, and Ipolo makes a fantastic save, but it has been all Arsenal for 95% of this half. I'd almost even say 99% of the half, or 100. But can we finally get something going, especially on this counterattack? It is a 1-on-3 at the moment, and the Arsenal are getting back, but we just send it into space, and which don't really want a right back attacking, but Adeoye is decent enough. He'll find a pass that's intercepted, and nothing will come of it again, except for maybe Arsenal on the other side of things. Now they'll play a fall, and he's in behind, but there is Adeoye. He recovers nicely, and now Ethan Nwaneri out wide for Henry Parker. What can Henry Parker do with it? Finally get our first decent option here. Everardo straight to the keeper, and he makes a fantastic save. Getting late in the second half here now. Over the top, Rovsek into Lamine Yamal, and here is Lamine Yamal. He's going to cut inside. He's going to try and find a pass back post for Henry Parker. Headed down, and Declan Rice will receive the ball there. I mean, if Arsenal need the win. Arsenal cannot draw. If they draw this game, they're out of the title race hopes at all. It would really just put us in Chelsea, and we would need to lose by a big margin, and obviously Chelsea would need to win, and they would win on goal difference. So yeah, Arsenal need the win to stay alive in the title race there. And then all we really need is a win against Birmingham, which should be easy enough. But he's in behind here. He chips the keeper, but he also chips the net and goes wide as well. So another chance there for Arsenal, and just cannot capitalize on it. And this is the last chance of the game here. Lamine Yamal, Balde stops it. It's going to be a 0-0 draw here at the Emirates. Arsenal are going to be out of the title race unless they can win here at the crunching tackle they play on. We let them play on. Here is Mikado. He's stopped by our defense, and that will be a 0-0 draw. Arsenal are out of the title race. We are now at the max points that Chelsea can get in the last game of the season. If they win, obviously, they would have to, actually, no, they wouldn't have to win because they already had played that game in hand. So a win here against them. We are your Premier League champions. You can see there, Chelsea can get the 76. They have a goal difference of 28. We need to lose by like 3-ish realistically, and they need to win by 3-ish over Newcastle, but we're playing Birmingham, so we should be able to get the job done. And in fact, I'm so confident we're going to simulate through it here and jump in, and thankfully it's a home game as the last game of the season, so we'll at least lift the trophy in front of our home fans if we can secure and wrap up the title there. And well, we go down behind early. Stansfield makes it 1-0 for Birmingham City, and we are down within 22 minutes in here against Birmingham City. And so we are going to jump into here in the second half here to try and revert this win or this like deficit that we have and try and win the game. Ethan Winery now over the top for Everardo. He's going to get that fortunate bounce, and he's going to P-roll it into the back of the net, and we draw level there. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Birmingham 0. And the same thing is almost going to happen here. Henry Parker over the top for Everardo, and Everardo's in behind. He splits the defenders this time, drags the keeper out, finds the other corner, and Wolverhampton Wanderers take the lead here and are now back as your title winners at the moment here against Birmingham. Lamine Yamal now out wide, 67, 68 minutes in. Lamine Yamal, Trevella crossed in for Everardo. He's somehow going to bring it down into a hat-trick hero for Everardo to hopefully secure that Premier League trophy, and the domestic treble are only around 20 minutes away from becoming a thing here. And Lamine Yamal, just to add insult to injury here, it's a long-distance shot. That was one just to get the game over with because I knew the keeper would save it if it was on target. He does, and we are your Premier League winners. We win the Premier League for back-to-back seasons, what it feels like. A 3-1 win, and we will lift that Premier League trophy here now today. Let's get into it. Just look at that trophy here. Dean Huijsen is going to lift it for the domestic treble. The Premier League is now ours. The FA Cup is ours. The Carabao Cup is ours. The Community Shield is ours. The UEFA Super Cup is ours as well. We just have one trophy in a way, standing in the way of another quadruple here. It is the Champions League final. Let's see if we can wrap that up and get the Champions League final and complete a pitch-perfect season. And so here we go, the Champions League final. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Manchester City here in the Champions League final at Benfica. So we are over in Portugal for the Champions League final as we look to complete the quadruple here. We already know how this went already in the FA Cup. We dominated against Man City. We put 4 past them in the FA Cup. I expect this game could be a little bit harder there. You can see the path. They took down Dortmund, Barcelona, Marseille, and Napoli. We obviously took down who we took down. I would say they would have the harder run there other than us. So let's get into it. It's the Champions League final. Man City versus Wolves. And it's going to be an early chance here for Manchester City because it's a blunder of clearance here. And Erling Haaland. Was that save? No, it was just drag shot wide, so not even on target for Erling Haaland, but like a wake-up call for our back line again to not get caught out defensively once again. Now, the thing is, can we go on the other side here right after the goal kick here? Ethan Winery, he doesn't find a pass for Lamine Yamal, and maybe he should have looked for it because nothing will come out of that as well. Is that Naipan over to Savinho now, and Savinho into Erling Haaland. We win the ball. We try to clear it. We find Bolo. He boots it up the field, but he doesn't boot it up far at all, and the chance for them, and thankfully, Tiani Rangers cannot find the back of net or the target at all. But there goes our back line again, being shaky again. But this time, after kickoff, we are going to hopefully attack this time a little bit better. This time we go on the right hand side. Lamine Yamal in towards Everardo, and Everardo finds the back of the net here. And Wolverhampton Wanderers strike first. My controller disconnects. Has been an ongoing theme of me breaking the wire and breaking controllers lately because of how I rug pull them. 1-0 lead for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And, well, the 1-0 lead will not last for long. Lamine Yamal will find Ethan Waneri. And Ethan Waneri now on the ball. What can he do with it? Out wide for Lamine Yamal. And Lamine Yamal, Everardo somehow managed to get that shot into the back of the net. It's 2-0. We double our lead here. Everardo Simeones makes it 2-0 for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And flashbacks of the FA Cup is coming into hands now. Are we going to start running riot with this? In a corner here for Manchester City. Nothing will come of it. Can we hit him on the counter attack and essentially end the day there? I don't know why I just let Henry Parker stand still there. Lamine Yamal now is on the ball. Everardo is there. We're going to look to find him, and Everardo is in behind. And Everardo to make it 3 straight to the keeper. Savinho now on the ball. Savinho over the top for Erling. And Erling found the volley. Ipolo saves it, though. He has to find the corner there to be able to do something there with it. The corner comes in, and Ba heads it down. We can't clear it. It's a deflection. It's horror clearance as well. But thankfully, the shot is piss poor, and Ipolo will save it. Goal kick here for Donnarumma. They're going to look to do something here. Build out from the back, hopefully, except they won't because Everardo still from the center back, and he'll find the back of the net, and they do what we've done so many times. But this time, we capitalize on it. It's his 11th goal in the competition. It's a Macarena coming out for the boys here. Not really, but really, yes. Everardo Simeones makes it 3-0 for Manchester City, and that should be the Champions League wrapped up. That should be the quadruple wrapped up. And that will be the quadruple wrapped up. A 3-0 win over Manchester City. We beat them 7-0 in cup finals within the last 2 weeks. Beat them 4-0 in the FA Cup final, and now beat them 3-0 in the Champions League final. The quadruple is done. 6 trophies this season, if you want to count the 2 community-esque trophies at the very beginning of the season here. It's been a very successful season, and I mean very, very successful season here. Let's lift that trophy, let's do a season roundup, and let's get out of here. And Dean Hoyson to lift the Carabao Cup, to lift the FA Cup, to lift the Premier League, and now to lift the Champions League trophy. We are your quadruple winners here in this season, number 9. One more season to do it all again next season. Tomorrow's episode will be season 10 in totality. I have to start editing that down a little bit as well because, oh my God, this has been a pain in my backside. But I think next season I want to go for the Invincibles, and that is the aim. I think that will be the aim, to try and go Invincibles in the league at least. If we can not lose a single game this entire season next season across all competitions, that would be generational. But the aim is in the league to be doing the quadruple without losing a single game in the Premier League. And so here's the trophy parade for the quadruple here. I'm simply just kind of letting this play out for a possible thumbnail in all honesty here, but I think the thumbnail might be Lamine Yamal coming into the squad here. It is Everardo, Ethan Waneri, us, obviously the Dynasty Guru, a.k.a. the manager, and the 4 trophies, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the Champions League, and the Premier League, as we do our trophy parade here, which this was initially cool, but to be honest, it's very boring. You skip it unless you're actually letting it play out for a video. More than not, you're skipping past it. More than not, you're not even seeing it because you skip through the calendar instead and just get past all that. But I do like how they lift the trophy, at least one of the trophies. Everardo had 41 goals in the season again. Ethan Waneri had 26 goals. Lamine Yamal with 17 goals and 17 assists. Henry Parker with 15 goals. Joao Neves had 8 goals and 10 assists. It's been a very successful season for our front three. It's been a successful season for our midfield as well. Yeah, what a great season there for us to be having here. We are the champions of the Premier League, winning it by 5 points over Arsenal. We are your champions of, I think I'm trying to show top goal scorer here. It is actually Mercado. So we're in the top 5. It is Fabio Mercado, and that is when I realized he is the Portuguese regen. I'm going to go ahead and end the season here. When we come back tomorrow, it'll be season 10 in totality, where we go for the invincible season in the Premier League, and we look to do it better than what Arsenal did in 2003 and 2004. So I will see y'all there. But until then, leave a like, subscribe, and peace out.